Norway versus England just finished, and based off the reaction I had from that game, something stinking, mad stench all over that game. In my opinion, I thought the ref was stinking up the whole field, just everywhere, all over that field. Man, there was a, such bad calls. In my opinion, there was one blatant one for the England first goal where the Norway goalkeeper, he kicks it, hits the wire for the cameras, and when that happens, it's usually supposed to be a drop ball. Then you can go again, like play stopped and all that. But the ref didn't stop play. The ball is picked up. It's passed to Jude Bellingham. Bellingham scores. And then there was also Norway's second goal, which, in my opinion, was, I think, one of the softest things I've ever seen be one of the softest, like, fouls, I guess, to disallow a goal. It wasn't as soft as the one that disallowed Egypt's second goal, original second goal. It was more of a foul than that, in my opinion, but still, Holland, he's trying to, it's a corner. There's always going to be contact. He's trying to make a play for the ball before it's kicked in, make a run. He kind of pushes, he put his hands on Elliot Anderson's chest, kind of extends him a little bit. You know, slight push off. It happens all the time in a corner kick. People are trying to get distance, create distance so they can get a good header. But Elliot Anderson, he gets the slightest of pushes and just flops over. It's like, I feel like the England team was taking diving lessons before this game because they were flopping everywhere. Like the first goal for Norway, Harry Kane gets the ball nicked off of him, and he gets like the slightest of touches on his leg or something like that, or his knee. I don't know why, like what happened, but he like launches up into the air, holds both of his, like he tucks both of his knees and like he's doing a cannonball, and then rolls around the goal on the floor, and the goal scored. And VAR looks at that like there's nothing in there. I don't know why. I don't know, man. But let me pull it up here. But all credit to England, and specifically Jude Bellingham. He's just on another level this World Cup. He's been carrying this mid attacking side from England here. They've been not producing well these last couple of games, and he's carrying them over the line, whether it's goals, whether it's assists, just being that guy, basically. And today was no different. Both goals really well taken. The second one, very lucky. Nyland, I give my heart out to you, man. It's just such an unfortunate error to make in extra time to just give Bellingham a goal. Similar error to what we saw in the Portugal-Spain game where the goalkeeper saved it, spills it out right in front of another player on the other team, and they just tap it in, basically. It's just unfortunate. And if Norway had a goalkeeper that was younger and probably, in my opinion, better, not to say Nyland's a bad goalkeeper. He's been around the block. He's pretty good. He had some of the best saves I've seen this tournament. There's one especially where he's close range. He knocks it over the bar. So it's not to say he had a bad performance, but if Norway had a goalkeeper on the same level as like Pickford, because Pickford's a pretty good goalkeeper. You can say all the memes you want about his short arms and whatnot, but he's still a good goalkeeper. If Norway had a goalkeeper on his level, or like maybe a little bit under that level, I feel like they could potentially have advanced farther. I think the biggest miss, I think, was for Erling Haaland. Just had zero service all game. And it's not to say he wasn't doing anything. He was making so many runs off the ball. Most like one run I saw from that he was making, him and Sorloth were pretty much in a 1v2 situation, and Sorloth just decides he just wants to be the hero. Yeah, but you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. You're a top striker, the guy who scores like 20 goals a season every single year. Uh, that's the guy who's on your team. You got to pass to. He is your star man, and you not passing to him there is in the. It's just insane. If I was the coach, I would have subbed him off immediately after that. I was surprised he stayed on as long as he did. I thought Sorloth was awful this game. I thought the decision to bench Nusa, um, Antonio Nusa from this game, was a mistake in my opinion. I feel like him and uh, Schletterup, should have been the wingers. I thought Schletterup's goal was insane. Going back to that, 22 years old, man, first World Cup and scoring a goal like that is outrageous. I think he will go pretty far in his career. I'll be honest. I thought he played pretty well today. I think he should have been kept on longer. He was, I think, the only attacker from Norway that was doing much with the ball, in my opinion. Uh, Nusa, when he came on, the game was just going such a fast level that he took him so long to get up to speed. It took until I think extra time almost to see him do a lot. Oscar Bob, I feel like, was in the same way. Um, he just couldn't do much with the ball. Uh, that's to say that like Nico O'Reilly and the rest of the defensive line were set up pretty well. Elliot Anderson, really good defensively. Declan Rice didn't have the greatest of games. Jed Spence was a machine when he came on for O'Reilly in the second into extra time and late in the second half. He was stopping a lot of attacks, which I think was the main reason why they couldn't get anything going forward. Like New said, troubles getting by him. Bob had troubles getting by him. Jed Spence almost had a good chance at the other end of the field. Almost caused a pen, but he kind of threw himself in front of the defender there, causing the pen himself, pretty much. Dan Burn coming on, just being that guy. I mean, if you have a team who is as good as England, and then you're late in the game, you're trying to hold on to like a narrow win, you can just throw a guy like Dan Burn on. I think it's just such a good addition to your team. He can just come on, just head anything away. He's taller than pretty much anyone on that field, maybe minus like Erling Haaland for the most part. I thought there was like one chance at the end, and like in the end of the second half of extra time, where Norway had booted up and Dan Burn pretty much dunked on the defender pretty much and sent him flying, which I thought was hilarious. But I thought this game overall was really even. In my opinion, I think Norway, while they did lose, I thought, based off the momentum here, obviously the first 20 minutes up until the water break was all England. I thought the game plan was really good from Norway. Just survive until the water break. After the water break, attack England. That's what they did. They got their goal. Unfortunate about the goal that they conceded. In my opinion, shouldn't have counted. But what can you do now? You can't really go and replay unless if someone bribes FIFA. But who knows if Norway would do that. The second half, they came out pretty much the same thing they did at the end of the first half. They went after England, and then they kind of got reversed first half after that water break. It kind of, the momentum started shifting a lot more towards England. I feel like the nerves started to creep in. Holland wasn't producing and whatnot, and then they scored that second goal. They went into extra time, and then the nerves piled on. They got scored on, whatever. But pretty even, in my opinion. The corners, I think, were piling up for Norway. The fact that they couldn't score one of them, I think, was a big miss, in my opinion. A huge, huge miss. With the team they have, like, you got to get the ball into Erling Haaland's head. He's such a good, he's got really good jumping ability, really good. He's just like a good guy to be in the air, to be that target man, and they just couldn't get it to him. I think this game was all about Erling Haaland not getting his shots in, pretty much. This game pretty much is all about Erling Haaland not getting the chances he needed, no service pretty much, and just England just being gritty, just winning any way they can, even if that's to be a little bit dirty, just getting up inside the other team, maybe taking a little bit leeway with the with your fouls, with the contact, making a more meal out of it, trying to make it tough for Norway. And I think they got in their heads, I think, in a little bit in the second half, which I think played into the English team's favor. They go on to play the winner of Argentina versus Switzerland, which happens in about 45 minutes as of recording. I'll have a video on that tomorrow, talking about that, because it's going to be a late one for my time. But England are into I think it's like their 4th or 5th time in the semifinals, so doing pretty good for them. If they don't get to the finals with the team that the team they have and the run they've been going on, they beat some pretty good teams. Mexico, not the easiest of teams to beat. DR Congo, not the easiest of teams to beat. Took them until pretty much the end of the game there. Norway aren't the easiest teams to beat currently, so they've gone a pretty tough run. And I think with the way they've been playing, resilient, fighting until the last whistle, I think they do have a chance to get to the final. So we'll see.